So good morning. Super excited to have a very interesting former colleague, client, and friend, and really just marketing genius on the podcast today. We're going to talk for 21 minutes with Nicole Sia about hitting a digital grand slam with Fanatics Gaming and betting and gaming. I'm going to let her. She is the face, the voice, the strategy, the arms, the legs, the computer, the probably multiple cell phones behind some of the coolest brands that you have seen on social and just generally walking around. DoorDash, Spotify, Gannett, Fanatics Gaming and Betting, to name a few. So I'm so excited to have you on this morning, Nicole. Thank you for coming.
Of course. I'm so happy to see you again.
I know. Me too. So as I was just explaining, this goes super fast. So we have some really exciting questions just to get right into and ask. But off the clip, I always like to just introduce kind of a wacky icebreaker for us here. So I'm dying to know, when it comes to your personal social media, love it or hate it?
Love it. 100% love it.
Love the confidence.
Girl,
Yeah.
I was born in the fires of the algorithms. Like that's
Yes.
Born in the algo, so love it.
Born in the fires of the algorithms. This is
new catchphrase.
I love this. This is, yes, I'm obsessed. I feel like you almost have to be so tapped in, you know, if you're not what most people would call doom scrolling, we like to call research. So love to hear that. What's a piece of advice that you wish you could go back after this incredible career with some really hard-hitting brands and tell yourself on day one when you first started building social media strategy roles?
The audience is your stakeholder, not your internal stakeholders. I think, as a woman of a certain age and societally conditioned to be a people pleaser, all of us high achievers are at this level.
Yep.
I think I would have told myself, have that single-minded message, focus on what the audience is telling you they want to hear versus what your cross-functional collaborators want to see. It's not about the business, it's about the audience.
Mm-hmm.
I preach that every day.
I think that's such a good point, because a lot of the ideas initially come out of internal meetings, right? And then you have to like retrofit that into the social feed. And it's like the classic, hey, can you upload this PDF meme to our social page? Like,
unfortunately, I cannot.
Exactly right. So when you think about kind of the biggest misconception about what it means to build a social media brand from the ground up, what can you share?
That it's easy. It's not easy. And it's not necessarily even about what you're putting on the feed. When you come in, like building social brands within brands themselves is, I think, one of the most complex roles a person can have, being brand side. Because even though it is 2025, about to be 2026, there is still such a lack of education or understanding about what it takes to really succeed, to my first point about the audience being the stakeholder. So the misconception is that, you can just trend jack and do like funny, unhinged stuff, and that's going to be the strategy. In fact, that doesn't work for everyone. And to even get there, you have to build an environment of trust, of support, of excitement, of understanding of what social needs to be before that gets out the door. I can't tell you how many great ideas I've had that just puttered out of the gate because legal saw it, and legal was like, what? No. Like,
the old legal process of review, where things go to die, where good ideas get squeezed every last ounce of coolness and interesting pieces from, I like feel this in my soul.
Well, and not to make them the scapegoat, because I've worked with extraordinarily collaborative legal teams that wanted to take the risk because they were bought into the mission. But then on the flip side, I've worked with some real hard-edged lawyers that were like, I won't name names on brands, but say I was marketing an album and I wasn't allowed to use that artist's face. Like, okay, we have a
That's
We
crazy.
have a misalignment in what needs to be true to make this happen.
Wow.
So some real obstacles around even getting things off the ground, to your point, what should be easy. And then you face all of these different really nuanced challenges that then how do you create something cool and interesting around it, when you can't use those types of assets?
You have to pave roads. I like to say that every brand that wants to do social starts with a big mountain in front of them. And before you can hop in the Ferrari and do Sunday driving laps around the mountain, somebody has to come in with a big stick of dynamite and blow a hole through the mountain and then pave the road.
Yes.
And so when you are the first person to be leading a social strategy at a brand that just has not done it before, it's about building the roads to the outcomes. And then the job is easy. You've created the relationships, you've unlocked the resources, you have the buy-in, you build a team who gets it, and then you trust that team to do it the right way.
Yep.
You don't get in their way.
Have you found aside from people are people, you have to build relationships, to make these inroads. Have you found any processes? I'm going off script. So have you found any processes or, nuggets that have helped progress those things along the way?
Having your data on lock, like being able to present as a person that understands marketing impact, that can communicate effectively about it, and then having your receipts. I also like to, when I'm in a conversation with someone who's maybe outside of marketing, find that I have to do a little bit of the storytelling around what marketing is and what the role social plays in that. And so establishing that compass from which you communicate first, making sure people are aligned to the starting point that you're working from and how it ultimately impacts them, and then using the data selectively, understanding what's going to resonate, and then saying we're in this together. It's one team, one fight. Is a value at DoorDash that I carry with me even today.
Yeah.
If you can change a heart and mind, instead of what you want to do, let me bring my expertise to the table and tell you what's going to be mutually beneficial. Everybody wins. Everyone gets stronger.
I love that. I think, one of the things about marketing that we find even with clients or trying to get people on board is you typically have two types of stakeholders, and you just perfectly identified, there's the data person that you've got to come with receipts. And then there's sort of the why person, and you have to bring them along in the story and where the emotional pull is and why it should matter to them. Right. And so I think it's a really difficult role because not just as marketers, but social strategy, you've been tasked with trying to tell both stories with equal importance.
It's right and left. I'm sorry. It's right and left brain at all times. And that's why social media managers and social media strategists are the future CEOs of the world, right? Because we have to have our toe in both worlds and operate with both at all times.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say, though. I feel like one of the hardest parts of social is getting people to understand it and its benefit for everyone, because it's not new, but it's becoming so much more important to everyone as well.
Storytelling is like such a gross word. I think it's like the 2025 version of moist, where it's just like, but like having the ability to do it, to like spark emotion by using sort of rhetorical devices and get people really bought in, I think is the most critical skill for any person endeavoring to do social anywhere, really is. And I think that directly translates to the work that you bring to the feed. Your goal is to make someone feel something, right? You have to stop attention and make them feel something. And you have to do that internally, and you need to do it externally. And so when I look to hire people to my teams, I have an open conversation with them, and I'm actually making a call on how engaged I were with the way that they were describing to me their experience, what they're excited about, who they follow on social. Oh, this person made me feel something. They get it.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be hard just to turn that on in the role, right? Like if that's kind of not what you bring as an individual, it's really difficult to tap because social is such a nuanced, storytelling is like, but experience, like you want to make people experience a piece of your brand and how it makes them feel. Do you, like, to that end, I remember back in the day, 2006. So let me just age myself real quick. My first job as a digital marketer, and we were running, Twitter accounts, and it was like the old intern junior account manager role, right? And how far we have progressed out of that, and the expectation now that, oh, just anybody can do it. And I think what I'm hearing you say is, no, it takes a really well-balanced marketer to come in and help harness that.
Oh, 100%. And by the way, people still call me the intern.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things that won't die. But I mean, you look at the Kamala Harris campaign from last year, and you had the most extraordinary marketing minds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds who were crafting and behind that strategy, literally the ones hitting post, and they still got called out on intern. Like, it's okay if, and I actually think it's a superpower, if you're 40 years old and you can shapeshift and make people think that you're 21 years old.
Facts. Yes. And not
Botox
just
for the win.
What
Not
I'm
just
doing.
smart.
Yeah. Weird. I love
That's
it.
so true. I see all those comments where it's just like, this intern, who let this intern post or something like that, or this intern's working overtime.
Well, and like, don't get it twisted. I'm at the stage of my career. I think I hired my first social media manager. I was thinking about this, driving in today, around 2012, right? So I've been hiring and building teams for the past 12, 13 years.
Yeah. A long time.
And then you would think after all of that time, oh, I'm just the figurehead. I'm just writing the strategy and doing the budget design. No, I was sending tweets last night.
Yeah.
Like, it is a role in which you never really get your hands off the executional, like that end product. Or maybe I'm just a micromanager. I don't know. Whatever. There was an opportunity. I jumped on it. I was using it to lead as example. And so you never really let go of all of the dimensions and skill sets, even when you're in this 12, 13, 14, 15 years.
Completely agree. Because it's changing, right? Like, it's changing so fast and so drastically. I think, to your point, if you're hands off, you've missed the boat. You're no longer, really in the know of how to make things happen and where to pull the levers. So I love that you're still like an active participant, which is, in my opinion, why you've been so successful.
Oh, thanks. I think my favorite part of the job, honestly, and why it's the best job in the world, is because I get to like cast and be inspired by my own social media consumption. Like, there's nothing more enjoyable to me than, sorry to my team, but like, it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm doing my TikTok scroll until I fall asleep and the phone hits me in the face.
Yeah.
I see something really interesting and it sparks for me. And I jump in the Slack and I'm like, this is our social inspo Slack. Look at this. It's so smart. What if we?
Yes.
And what that does is it gets everyone else who's doing the same thing, like chattering and bantering and talking about like, how could we make this work for us? Or what is the way that broke the platform that we can apply and test?
Yep.
Like, it's so fun to just be immersed in creativity all of the time. And then as a leader, you do the less fun part about making it performative and then like selling it in so you can continue to create that environment of creativity for your team.
Yeah. I think you raise a really good point, because when we see inspo and we've got our own little, Slack channel, we're dropping things in and people are commenting, and it's easy sometimes, I think, to get swept up in the latest, viral trend, right? So how do you find like trying to balance a more evergreen, anchored strategy with really getting swept up in controversy or virality or hopping on the latest meme? Where do you draw the line?
10 years ago, I would have said content pillars, but I hate content pillars in 2025.
Yeah.
I think more important than content pillars, which are just an expression, a framework of a strategy, is like really understanding your brand's point of view. And when I join a new company and I'm learning about the business and the brand expression and the things that matter, but then also what matters to the customer, how they're spending their time consuming content, even when they aren't engaging with us, and then understanding that intersection of how we start to hijack attention through that like me time, that entertainment time that they are self-propelling. I think what that does is it gives you a really strong compass to say, or not even a compass, but also a lens, right? Through which to make decisions, a prism, to say, Hey, here's a thing going on over here. Hey, but that has nothing to do with us. It's outside of our category. And beyond that, we know that our customer really doesn't care about it in a meaningful way. So it does not make sense for us to enter that conversation. So really, it is like having a strategy and then keeping yourself disciplined to adhere to the strategy, rather than what always happens is somebody is in their own personal algo. They see it. They have an idea because social is exciting. Creativity is exciting. And they're like, we should do this. The job of the social team is to be like, that is really exciting. I'm glad that's enjoyable for you.
Right.
And not to do this in any kind of condescending tone, but just say, not part of our strategy. We just know that's not going to reverberate for us and doesn't really express our mission and our values. So why don't we focus on this instead? It's always a like, no, but yes.
Yeah. Yes, and right. It's
yes,
like
and
a great idea. Maybe we could execute it this way, you know, because you don't want to. I think that's the part too, is like everyone's a marketer when you have ideas. So you don't want to, one, crush someone's spirit, and also two, take the creativity, you know, like suck that out of the vacuum either. So I really love that approach of just empowering people to bring ideas, but then look over here, you know.
and can but look over here, but also use it as a teachable moment so they have deeper understanding of the strategy, right? So it's an opportunity to democratize your mission.
Yep.
And then Brittany, you said yes, and, which obviously is the golden rule of improv.
You're right.
And
exactly.
Never wanted to be a famous person. So cringe to me internally. I had to work past it, but I had a wonderful manager, a wonderful leader at Spotify who made the entire content marketing team that I sat on do an improv class.
I love this.
To reinforce yes, and.
That's great.
And that exercise was so impactful to me to help me reframe like generative collaboration.
Yes.
But also like take me out of my cringeness.
Right.
On like what we were putting on the feed. So it creates bravery, it creates collaboration, it creates expansiveness in the way that we process new ideas. 100% my number one reco for all social media teams, do a corporate improv class together. You'll have fun, it'll be silly, you'll be forged in the fire of comedy.
Oh, that's amazing. But that, I mean, honestly, if you just take a step back and think about kind of the meta, not meta is Facebook, right? But like the perspective of how to deal with content and social, it's always yes, and it's how do we play in this cultural, you know, ecosphere with our brand. A couple weeks back, we had the Tampa airport, the gal who started, you know, kind of their new strategy and taking transportation into cultural. And she said, it reminded me of like Elle Woods, right? Like just for us girls here, but like it's hard, you know? And she said it in such an off the cuff way of, oh, well, you just have to take cultural trends and make them apply to an airport. We were like, what?
But like that seems, that seems almost silly and reductive, but it's actually extraordinarily nuanced and complex and sophisticated.
Exactly.
The yes, and I think what a lot of brands get wrong, and not to yuck anybody's yum or like condescend to anyone's strategies, is they just get to the yes.
Correct.
And like the brand has to have self-awareness that they themselves are the brand. And in order for a brand to enter any conversation of social, there has to be somehow an elevation of the idea. It has to be additive. Otherwise, you're just thirst tweeting, you know? So how are you taking this cultural entity and reforming it and elevating it or creating additive value back to the customer so that they remember you? Otherwise, you're just another brand hopping on a chain.
Amen. Yep. I want to talk to you for a second about metrics, because I think, you know, you mentioned data before, and social has, I feel like, really evolved in a place where we used to all just be looking at the same metrics. What's your take on vanity metrics, likes, followers? What's the one metric that you feel like we should all actually be tuned in and care about? Or maybe
shares is the golden metric, right? For two reasons, practically and substantively. Like it's weighted heavier in everyone's algo, right? All of the algos are looking at shares. And two, to my earlier point, like there's no better signal that you made someone feel someone to the point that that feeling transmuted into contagion that they wanted to share, right?
Completely.
So sharing is like the number one indicator that you have had creative salience and that what you've done is successful. And so when we look at our monthly metrics, I'm literally pulling out the most shared items and fueling that back into the team and say, let's only do this.
I love that. I feel like it's a recognition of social currency. If you see something and you want someone else to see that, it validates your position that it resonates. So I'm 100% on the shares train here. I think the likes, the follows, all things we should be looking at, clicks of an indicator, but truly the resonance of what you're doing works. I think you raised such a good point.
Sharing on social is a love language.
Yeah.
Yep. It's whoever's like the top share for you that you always send it to every time. That's what I love about. And there's so many things to do that are like without straight up saying like share this with a person, like that makes them want to share it as well. So it's so interesting because we see that with a lot of our clients too.
Completely.
And it is like a love language in itself.
As always, this is never enough time, and we are literally clicking down to seconds. So I've got one last question to close with. If Fanatics Gaming and Betting gave you the keys to run social for any athlete for the week, who would you pick and why?
Easy question. Cristiano Ronaldo, the biggest sports athlete in the world. And my guy is going to be placing some massive wagers all week long, $1 million bets. I'm talking NFL futures. He's going to go Detroit Lions, $1 million, pays out $18 million based on current odds. He's going to go and look at Thursday night football. He's going to look at Sunday, all day, the slate, Monday night football. And my guy's going to rack up some wins. And we're going to create content with him, watching him watch those games and capturing the emotion and the intensity of watching his bet play out. Easiest question. Someone hand me the phone.
Someone hand me their phone.
Get him on the phone.
She's ready. Just put me in, coach. No pun intended.
Good pun.
That's awesome. So many amazing sound bites. I always love our chats. I feel like I walk away just refreshed and feeling like there is a way forward, and reinventing the wheel truly is, your cup of tea, and being able to capture that in a way that just makes sense no matter the brand. So thank you for sharing all the really cool experiences, coming on to chat with us, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. I miss you. Let's work together soon.
Okay, can't wait.
Bye.
Bye.